Last planner in construction, weekly work planning, how to build a weekly work plan. I am so excited about this video, and you can tell in my eyes that I'm excited. I'm not faking it, because this is going to be a series of 20 videos for the Last Planner system to support and enable and to continue the amazing work of the Last Planner system. But there are some system fixes that we're pulling into this that will make it effective for you on your job sites. And that's why I'm excited, because it's all about you. So I'm going to give you some cool references, and I'm going to get right over here to this board and we're going to talk about it. So the weekly work plan. Inside the Last Planner system, like we've talked about before, the deliverables or the artifacts will show in the Last Planner that you need to have a master schedule. Then you take a single phase with an individual milestone. I would say you pull plan within a milestone framework. But what you do is different. You don't just do it for the entire batched area. You do it zone by zone, and unless you're doing a single remodel, you will see that this milestone will actually cascade to the actual end phase milestone, zone by zone. Then that will create your norm level takt plan, which is in a time by location format. You will gain buffers at the end of that phase, and this milestone will align to your overall project milestone if it was set properly. With takt it will, with CPM I hope it will for you. But then from there we filter out the look ahead plan and the weekly work plan. And the look ahead plan, 4 to 6 weeks out, is how you identify, discuss, and solve problems so that you can make work ready. The weekly work plan is specifically for coordinating handoffs and making commitments. So we're right here in this video. And then from there, you can do your day plan and track your % plan complete and implement the full Last Planner system. If we've done this right, and I hope this makes perfect sense to you. And I don't mean on your end, you're brilliant, but I want to make sure I'm explaining it right. In a time by location format, what we have are the production plan in a time by location format with zones. You can see the individual activities by zone. And again, we do not pull plan one big massive area. We pull plan the individual zone, and then we repeat it through the zones to make sure that we have diagonal trade flow. And that diagonal trade flow is exactly what we need to maintain if we want to narrow the throughput time of the phase. And I want you to know, when we go from the macro level takt plan to this, we will gain time, but we will never cut trade durations. In the takt production system, you can optimize the phase and not cut trade durations. But we have to have a buffer inside this norm level takt plan, and we have to maintain that milestone. So trade flow buffer milestone, we have to have that. Now, as we talked about in the previous video in this series, we want to, and I'll just draw it like this, we want to look 6 weeks out, and we want to use that look ahead plan, that 6 week make ready look ahead plan. It's technically called 6 week make ready look ahead plan. It's a big long name. And we want to use that 6 week look ahead to IDS, identify, discuss, and solve problems. And the purpose there is to make work ready for the weekly work plan. And the way I visualize it is that we have to filter out a narrower, so 1 week out, I'd say 1 to 2 weeks out, we filter out the activities that are happening for next week inside the weekly work plan. Now this will typically, and I think it should all the time, but it will break out the activities to where they're all on their own lines, and it will be Monday through Friday. And if you're like doing this plan on a Tuesday, it will cover the rest of this week and all the way up to next week. And that is your weekly work plan. Now, will you still be looking for problems inside the weekly work plan? Yes, but if we've done a really, really good job, most of that will be done in the look ahead plan. So what is the purpose of the weekly work plan? The purpose of the weekly work plan is our handoffs and commitment. Commitment means that these activities are being committed to. Now, we cannot say we're going to do a pull plan, then the production plan, and then create the look ahead plan from scratch and create the weekly work plan from scratch. You cannot do that. These are filtered, not created. What will happen here is a part of your weekly work plan in that weekly meeting. So briefly, I will say in the Trade Partner Weekly Tactical, Monday through Friday, I like to have it Tuesday afternoon. And you in your conference room are looking up at your screens, and you will see on the left your visual site maps, and you'll see on the right your whiteboards, and your trade partners are in this room coordinating with you, okay? What you are going to do is you are going to use this just as one last double check to find and remove roadblocks all the way to the end because we want it to be roadblock free. But you are going to go through the plan. You are going to understand it visually, and I'm going to say spatially. Okay? That means you're not just going to look on your visual maps and say, we're right here building this wall. You're going to look at it and say that trade partner is building this wall, plus the laydown area, plus the access, plus all the logistics. This is our impact on the site. And make sure that activity to activity, there's no overlap, trade stacking, or interference with other trades. And that from trade to trade, we're coordinating these handoffs, and that it's not trade to super to trade. I'm going to look at that, if I'm a trade partner, look at that other foreman and make commitments. I've weighed in, I've bought in, and I've made commitments. And we will have a better chance of those activities actually hitting with that. And what we'll do is each of your handoffs should be clearly marked on your weekly work plan. And that is the main thing you review in addition to the roadblocks. And what happens is this plan, once coordinated, will go out to the field and enable your zone control walks and be the plan that you execute from now to 2 Fridays from now. And this is genius because everyone can now see as a group, know as a group, and act as a group. Now, what you have to make sure here in your weekly work plan is that trades have committed to it. It is their plan, their promises. It is adjusted for whatever they need, but it is still aligned to milestones and it still has the trade flow and you're still maintaining buffers at the end of the phase. And so this weekly work plan is now key for leading work out in the field. And if you're doing it right, you will check mark or X these every day, whether or not you're hitting them, and track that work within a week. From there, you are calculating your percent plan complete, your percent promises complete. But I am going to pause right now because in other videos, I will now take you to the other things like the day plan, the meetings, and the percent plan complete. We're not going to cover that right now, but I do want you to know this is what we're aiming for. This has to go out to the field at a minimum so we can work together. If you want to know how to run these meetings specifically, the book is called Takt, Steering, and Control, and it's a phenomenal book for you to learn how to implement this system. And if you want to know why these specific changes have been made to the Last Planner system, that book is called The 10 Improvements to the Last Planner System. We're going to turn this into a blog post, and I hope you love it because weekly work planning now enables the production in the field with a visual plan with handoffs coordinated so trades can meet their commitments. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.